One from our organization is Bailey Peternell. Bailey's a member of our language class, a student who came to us in search of learning the Slovenian language and really has embraced the Twin Cities Slovenians and has helped at a couple of events. And so, Bailey.
All right, so I'm not doing as much of a place rather than an unusual animal, I guess, but you can find it in a place in Slovenia. I'm doing the Olms, which I never knew anything about until I searched it, which I'm sure those who have visited Slovenia have probably heard of it. But Olms are entirely aquatic salamander and are only found in the waters of caves in the Denmark Alps, which is found in parts of Slovenia, Italy, Croatia, and Herzegovina. I'm not too sure how to say that word. But they measure 8 to 12 inches long and have non-pigmented skin that is similar to human flesh. The eyes of the Olms are covered in a layer of skin, and the species have adapted to the dark in the caves and are blind. So here I have a picture, and unfortunately, I didn't have a color printer. So, pass that around. But something I thought was unique was that the adaptation from being in a cave so long was actually used in Charles Darwin's Origin of the Species, like book that was published in 1859, which growing up I learned a lot about, so it was really interesting to see that that animal was used as an example. And the average Olm lives for around 50 years, but it can live as long as 100 years and survive without food for 10 years. The strange appearance of these creatures has made it an object of human fascination for centuries, and although the deep water habitat is generally inaccessible, floodwaters occasionally carry the Olms to surface, and that's kind of how they've been known. And the first written account of the Olm dates back to 1689, in which a scholar disputed the belief that Olms were baby dragons, which is one of their nicknames, along with human fish. And as their serpentine bodies and gills corresponded well to the descriptions of these mythological reptiles, because they had soft, pale, purple skin, and you can kind of see their insides in it, which is kind of interesting. So Postonia Cave, I think I said that correct, is the cave that they're found in, which I have printed off a picture of the aquarium in which you can find it. And it's a minimalist aquarium, which I thought was really unique because it's very, very small. I can pass this around too. It's very simple yet creative, and it's, from my understanding, it's a very natural, the way they built it, and it's just, I think I wrote down that it's the way it's positioned in the widening of the cave, so it's as natural as can possibly be while looking at it. And then the other interesting thing I found too was that 8 days ago, the New York Times actually wrote an article about this Slovenian cave of baby dragons hatching, which I thought was really interesting. So it's very recent. I can pass, it's very short if anyone wants to read it. But it's specifically talking about the Postonia Cave and how they're expecting to hatch some eggs. And the female Olms only reproduce every 6 years, so it's kind of a big deal. So that was really interesting. Pass that on too. You don't have to read it, but it's kind of shorter. But yeah, that's all.
What do they eat?
That's a good question. I didn't research in depth too much on what they eat, but I know that they have a really slow metabolism, and that's why they can not eat for 10 years. So, yeah, I thought that was like probably the most interesting thing I thought was that, and how long they can live. And I wanted to look more into the mythology of it all, on why they thought they were like more dragon-like, but I couldn't find. There's multiple different stories that I didn't really know what was the most realistic of what people actually thought.
How big did you say that they got?
8 to 12 inches. So I'd say probably about that. They're interesting looking little creatures. I don't know.
Actually, when we were in Postonia.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sure
we
people
saw
have seen them.
a creature.
That's so cool. I definitely want to go there.
Yeah, Yeah.
So it was in the water?
No,
and
it
you-
was in
Oh,
one
in
of-
that-
Yeah, it was kind of sitting there.
Okay.
It didn't do anything, it was just sitting
Yeah,
there.
okay.
But they called it the human fish, the human
The
fish.
human
I was
fish.
just sitting there because we hadn't eaten it.
Well, we saw our children, we saw it many years ago, before they had the aquarium.
Oh,
Kind of in a pool.
And then they were,
Yeah.
okay.
oh,
Okay.
really cool.
And that cave is easy to visit because it has transportation in it.
Yes.
It's
That's what I was
not
reading
like
about,
some of the
yeah.
other caves that are more interesting,
Yeah,
that you have to work for.
yeah.
Bailey, what is that? On the picture, it showed right like above the eye. What was that?
Looked like,
It looked like a
I
branch,
think
but
it's
it
like
was.
a little
Yeah.
gill. When I was researching it, they had like
Yeah,
some.
that's a salamander, that's his gills.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah, it's
I was
very.
thinking a little branch. Those are pretty long eyelashes. So women were like, oh,
did they say if they found those in any other caves in Europe? Or
They're
unique to
found
Slovenia?
in like Italy and Croatia, but the most like in Estonia, like that's one of the biggest like things that they are known for, from my understanding. But I'm not entirely sure with like if they're found in other places, but I'm guessing most caves are probably in that region. They probably yeah. Any other questions? As I said, I probably have more questions for those who've actually visited. I'm still working my way and getting there, so hopefully soon.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.